President Trump's trade war has stocks and tariffs yo-yoing in opposite directions. The tariffs go up.
The Trump administration is considering slashing tariffs on Chinese goods, in some cases by more than half.
China is refusing to negotiate with President Trump on U.S. tariffs. In fact, the nation is taking the trade war to a new height.
The trade war between China and USA has gotten more hotter recently. In fact, it's so hot you can probably roast 10 barbecue pots in there. Okay, that's a joke. Don't try to roast 10 barbecue pots at the same time. Okay, so what's happening? Who's winning? Today we'll be answering that question in this episode of Dr. Destin. Chapter 1. What on earth is happening? Okay, so unless you've been living under a deep sea rock for the past, I don't know, 1 year, basically what happened was that Trump got elected as president.
Donald Trump now looking forward to a return to the White House. While the race between Mr. Trump and Vice President Harris went late into the night, it was far from a repeat of the 2020 election that took days to reach a result. In fact, many of the swing states that were critical for both candidates leaned to the right early and stayed that way.
I think everyone knows that. And then he said that he would get rid of income tax and then double down on tariffs. What's a tariff? Okay, so basically a tariff is when two countries trade, one country can put a tariff on another country, and that basically means if this country puts products in this country, then basically they need to pay an extra fee. Okay, got out of the way? Great. So he wants to destroy income tax.
If you look at that, China, first row, China, 67%, that's tariffs.
So basically, how the tariff system works is that the USA would put tariffs on all countries. Okay, not all, but 60 countries. And the base standard of the tariff will be 10%. Now, this number will increase, and the increase will depend on how much the country tariffs the USA back. So if you got like a 92% tariff and the USA tariffs you, then it will be higher than 10% because you're tariffing the USA back already. That's why it's called a reciprocal tariff, obviously. Okay, so after that, what will happen is that will hopefully cover the income tax. Now, is that feasible? Probably not. I mean, like, seriously. In 2022, they made 111.8 million from tariffs on imports from other nations. But then the income tax that they collect from citizens is 4.5 trillion. Can you tell me how you're supposed to cover that? Exactly, you can't. Unless you somehow increase the tariff by a whole lot, doing some simple maths. Okay, so anyways, back to the story. Now, we got our two contestants in this fight for trading. Welcome to tonight's show of boxing. What will happen is that in the right wing, we have China. In the left wing, we have the United States of America. Who shall win this trade war? It's up to us to see. Now we shall see what the results will be. So after that, let's see what's happening on the USA. Second chapter, the food fight. Okay, so what's happening in the USA? Well, grocery prices, for one part, has went up. Actually, everything in the USA has went up, but mostly grocery prices. So the average grocery price increase from these tariffs in the USA, since less people want to trade over the USA and they tariff them back, is they increased by 2.8%. And for fresh produce like vegetables and fruit, it's 4%, a bit higher. So obviously this will make it more expensive for the normal American, and it will also be more expensive because of inflation. Isn't that just wonderful, kids? Having your groceries increase by 10% and also having inflation there. Don't you just love it? All jokes aside, the consumer reports are showing. So consumers in the USA have been lowering down on spending. Why? Because it's more expensive. That's why, Carol. Okay, so basically what's happening is the snack companies in the USA, aka Campbell, PepsiCo, JM Smuckers, they all reported a decrease in actual customer buying stuff, and then it will probably be slowed more because of tariffs, because it's more expensive, and yeah, you get the gist. And PepsiCo has reported a 3% drop in sales of snacks compared to the last quarter, or at least in the Frito-Lays, yeah. Okay, so in the CNN business article that I got this information from, there was an example of where the Italian importer of balsamic oil and olive oil said to Morton Williams that there will be a 20% increase in prices because tariffs are making stuff more expensive. Okay, so after that, also another small company called Affiliated Foods had multiple notices of providers saying that there will be higher expenses to get food. Yeah, and also banana cases will become more expensive, increased by 4 cents. What? Okay, talking about banana cases or casing for food, that food has to be stored somewhere, and that's in casing. And obviously, this will be more expensive because the aluminum foil has to come from somewhere, and that somewhere is probably not. It's probably outside the US. Also, another thing, this will change farming as you get the point, right? It's more expensive to buy agricultural machine parts from outside the USA. I think it's pretty obvious at this point, what I'm trying to get to. So everything's more expensive in the USA at this point. And also, even if it does say that it's made in the USA, that does not mean that they can just, get import food from like Thailand or something and then come here and then package it and then say that it's made in the USA. They're just gonna love these half-lies. Okay, so yeah, now we have the right wing of China. Let's see what they're doing. Chapter 3, China shenanigans. Okay, so in China, ever since they had this, debacle over tariffs, the stock market has been dipping down because obviously most companies in the stock market are USA, and you know what's way more expensive in USA? Everything! Yay! Okay, so yeah, that's what's happening in the stock market. And then also another factor is that China is now fighting back on top of those tariffs they put at the USA. So what are they doing? Okay, first off, they're not buying USA exports. No, now they're just refusing them, just straight out. And then they also stopped buying recently liquid gas from the USA. They stopped doing that. Also, another thing China has done is trying to hurt US businesses that are inside their borders by shortening the amount of Hollywood movies they would show at the cinemas. And they also returned 2 Boeing jets back to USA that was supposed to be used for China Airlines. And then after that, then China, using shenanigans, started going around and putting up trade deals with everyone. like literally. So first off, they signed a deal with Malaysia, Cambodia, and Vietnam, which basically says, hey, we can do free trade now. Yeah. So then after doing that, they proceeded to go to Japan, the European Union, and also South Korea, and then they started encouraging them to trade with us. Okay, yeah, I don't mean me. I mean like China. Yeah, China encouraged them to trade with them instead. And then this kept on, and this is keep on going around. It's still continuing. And then now, what's happening? Who's winning? Okay, so very recently in the making of this video, like literally yesterday of time I'm recording, Donald Trump has said that he will decrease the China tariff, but it will not go down to none. It will not go down to 0%. So this is a response to the Treasury Secretary, Dr Destin, who basically said tariffs are bad. This trade war is ridiculous. It's not going anywhere. So then he basically said something along the lines of that, or at least in that paradigm. And then after that, Trump replied with, okay, fine, we'll lower the tariff on China. But he's made a compromise to say that he will not put it at 0%. And then after that, in the Chinese social media app Weibo, there were hashtags going around that said something along the lines of Trump has given up, or Trump admits defeat, something along the lines of that. So yeah, who's winning? Put your opinion down in the comments, like the video, subscribe, and also watch this video right here, just learn more about the Trump tariff stuff. Bye.